One, two, one, two, one. Turn me up. Turn me up.
The champ is here.
It's your boy, Deep in Israel, the People's Champ, back with another YouTube live stream. Shalom, Israel. Shalom, you Negroes. Shout out to my trolls. Hope everybody is doing well today. March 19th, 2026, y'all. Thursday, Throwback Thursday. Sorry I'm late this evening. I had to run out and get myself something to eat. I had phone calls all day, so I've been conducting business, my personal business, all day. And my last call was like 6:30. I'm like, damn, I didn't even realize it went that long. So by that time, I had forgot to take something out for dinner, and I was hungry. And then one wait for them to thaw out. I would have just now been eating, maybe. So I said, nah, let me go on out the door. Going out the door. And productive day. I got some things done. That's interesting. Now my little phone mount gable, auto tracking gable, whatever you want to call it, the light is blue. I've never seen it be blue before. It's working, but I thought it was just red and green. But for some reason, it's blue. Never seen that. Interesting. I don't know what that means. It caught my eye. It just caught my eye because I'm so used to it being green in this one. So I don't know what the blue means. Maybe it's hand gestures. I don't know. I don't know how to work this thing. I got it working just enough to do what I wanted to do, which is follow me when I move a little bit. I hate all that dead space in front of my head, though. Let me see if I can fix that a little bit. Let's pause it and just try to adjust it slightly because I don't like dead air. The dead air is that space above your hair. And I hate when people take pictures and they got all that extra space up there. I don't like that. Okay. I want to get it right so it don't annoy me. Mhm. All right, give me a second, y'all. No, I need a little more. At least I could adjust it incrementally. I don't want to do it too much. All right, that's better. That's good enough. We gonna rock. We gonna rock, y'all. Hey man, I got a box to close out. All right. On the way in the door, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, share it to your socials. Y'all know the routine. Y'all know the housekeeping. If you don't want to be here, don't be here. Move around. Plenty of places to be. Out here in these YouTube streets, these Facebook streets, and wherever else you may be watching from. Because I am simulcasting. If you are staying, I appreciate it very much. I very much appreciate y'all taking y'all time, y'all evening to spend with me. Appreciate it. Hopefully you get something out of what I'm saying. That's always my goal. Because my message is not for the masses. Which I find funny. Because when I talk to people one-on-one, I'm sharing my thoughts. And people be in agreement with me. You know what I mean? So I wish y'all disagreeers will come talk to me directly so we can work something out. And I'm gonna bring that back around later. But that's not communication. But if y'all only pretending to be in agreement and then behind my back, well, that nigga crazy and all that, what's you so fake? I don't know how y'all live with yourselves. Because I don't live my life like that. But I know a lot of y'all do. You got a little slick shit to say behind the scene with your punk asses. And you can't man up or woman up and just speak your mind. I don't know what in the world, I don't know where we got that in the world. Where people don't speak their minds no more. I remember growing up, the older folk, when I was a kid growing up, teenager, they spoke their minds. Everybody did. And it was no surprise where people were coming from. You weren't caught off guard. You like, well, that's how they are. You knew where they were coming from. But in today's world, y'all are such chameleons and fugazi and inauthentic. Y'all are with that, I want to keep the peace and I don't want no problems. How you go through the world without problems? I mean, what world y'all live in? But if you got a problem, you can't never resolve the problem if you don't know there's a problem. So people be having problems with you and you don't know. Because y'all like to have little private conversations behind people's backs and all of that BS. I just don't remember the world being like that until recent. Some of y'all were that way always, but that's become the norm. Y'all don't stand on business. You don't stand on your own beliefs. I don't know. I don't know. But, and I think that's the problem y'all have with Donald Trump. Not to make this topic wasn't meant to be political, but now that I think about it, that's the problem because he speaks his mind and y'all can't stand it because y'all are so fake. It ain't because he did something, it's because of who you are. Because everything, every position this man has advocated for and is ran on, campaigned on, he has been saying for decades and decades and decades. And it's the same position that other politicians who now claim that they're against him, they themselves have said. It was their position too. Hillary, Obama, Bill, Schumer, Jeffries, and the list can go on and on and on. That's what y'all not used to in today's world. Y'all not used to the internet being forever and cameras everywhere. So y'all not used to being somebody throwing your words up in your face, what you just said, or what you said yourself previously. Here you are saying the same thing he said almost word for word, and now you against him, and it's the end of the world. But it wasn't the end of the world when you were saying that. And many of y'all are like that in your private lives too. You'll smile in somebody's face and agree with them in their face, and they get around other people or behind their back, and then all of a sudden you against them, and they crazy as cat shit now. I got family members who do me like that all the time. I'm like, wait a minute, I just got off the phone with you. But at least I know with myself, when you talk to me, my story don't change. And because I got to look my kids in the face at some point, and I couldn't look at my kids in their face if my story was always alternating back and forth. My kids are like, wait a minute. Especially imagine. She'll be like, Dad, Pop, I know you said this thing to me many times. So-and-so said you said something different. Imagine, you know damn well I ain't say that. And people who know me, you could almost predict what I'm going to say. Nothing I say should be surprising at this point. I'm 50 years old this year. I got over 1,000 videos of me talking on damn near every topic imaginable. And I haven't contradicted myself, flip-flop, none of that, not once. So I love that BS when people come back into me, oh, that ain't what you said. No, bullshit. That's exactly what I said. Not only did I say it to you, I said it to other people, and I got a video. I got 5 videos of me saying the same damn thing over and over and over. So what the hell are you talking about? And I got a security cameras all in my house recording everything I say. Like, do we need to go to the instant replay? No, so don't play that game with me. But a lot of y'all like to play that game. That's why I got the cameras. I don't play. And they record 24/7, baby. They are recording 24/7. Please believe it. I get tired of that. You said this and some shit I know damn well I ain't never say. You ain't never heard me, ain't nobody ever heard me say that shit but you. Really? One thing I'm not is a liar. I may be a lot of things. I may be fucking crazy or a whole lot of other shit, but I've never really heard people tell me I'm a liar or talk about me as if I'm lying. It always be y'all one-offs to try to play that game. And it usually be y'all getting caught up in your own bullshit. And that's when you want to go, that ain't, you said something different or you told me. No, I didn't. No, I didn't. My philosophy has been etched in stone for quite some time. I'm not a young man where I'm figuring shit out, figuring myself out. I am who I am. And make sure you leave a couple dollars in the tip jar on your way out. But some of y'all, you're not confident or set in who you are, and you wish-washy. Fine, be honest about who you are. But don't play like you this way or that way, and you can't even explain your position. I could tell you why I think the way I think. I could explain it to you in many different ways about many different topics. All you gotta do is have a conversation with me. Why you think that? Oh, sure, I'll tell you why I think that. I have no problem doing that. I do it on here multiple nights per week. Communicating my thoughts ain't a problem for me. I don't think anybody can argue with that. But y'all, many of y'all are so used to giving bullshit answers in the moment. And then you forget the bullshit answer you gave a week ago, a month ago, a year ago, 5 minutes ago. And then you get caught up because you don't change your position because you're not etched in stone. You don't believe the bullshit that you say. Hello. But God, right? But I'm the crazy. I'm the guy that's saying the same thing decade after decade after decade, just like our president. And then people want to come back and make it seem like, oh, this man don't know what he's doing. He been talking about blowing up Iran since the 80s. And y'all surprised that he went and blew up Iran? And your dad did on top of that. They want to be like, oh, you don't know what he's doing. He ain't got no plan. Seems to me he been planning that shit out for over 40 years. He was pretty decisive. And BP went on TV today and said the same thing. Hell, this man been saying this shit for 40 years. He's been very consistent. But the people are saying that foolishness are the same ones that been flip-flopping. They one moment, well, we got to get Iran. They can't have a nuclear weapon. And the next minute, Trump is wrong for doing it. Orange man bad. Trump bad, right? Which is it? And he's saying the same thing y'all said. How can we ever come to agreement if I come around to your way of seeing things? And then when I get there, you want some other shit. Now you want the opposite of what you originally want. That's the game they play. Remember, they had to get rid of the guy in Minnesota who was over ice, and then they brought in Tom Homan to replace him. And then Nomi, I think, whatever, Christy. She had to get fired. She fired. You still ain't happy. You're getting everything you want, and then there's always something else. Negotiations don't work that way. Then they wanted Hakeem bitch ass Jeffries want to get up on there, and his story, he got one script, and it sounds exactly like the last script he was running when it was healthcare. The last time they shut down the government. Now they just fill in the blank with a new issue. You done got what you wanted. What are you giving up? That's what a negotiation is. Both parties have to give up something, and then we come to the middle. But it can't be, and it can't be just one-sided all the time. And it's always the other side got to give in, and you ain't never happy. As soon as you get what you want to the next thing you want. Well, that's such an effeminate way of thinking. And AD kind of posed that question earlier. I watched one of his clips and shows, and I'm trying to think exactly how he said it. Anton Daniels, I'm talking about. And what did he say? Well, first, while I'm thinking about that, one thing he said off topic slightly. Last night, I think he said it. Y'all can't get to me like I can get to other people. He was speaking of. You don't have the means, the resources, the will to get to my level where I'm at. But I can get the people above me, he was saying. And there's a lot to that. Because I've always felt that way. Thought that way, not felt, but thought. I could reach out and touch a lot of people that can't touch me. People below me couldn't get them. And it was people above me I could get to. Always had, for example, when I worked at OnStar, and there's a lot of people, particularly on my Facebook page, who worked for OnStar. By a show of hands, put it in the chat. How many people have had one-on-one conversations, multiple, with the CEO of OnStar or GM? I've talked to both of them multiple times. Because of my ability, my sales ability put me in a room with those men. I was able to reach out and touch those. But it was people below me in the hierarchy that couldn't come sit next to me at my desk. Couldn't come into my training classroom. They didn't have no way to get to me. I mean, maybe they could have ran up on me in the parking lot, but hell, that might not go good for you. But anyway, outside of that, they couldn't have a conversation with me if I wasn't willing to participate. I remember we had some of the largest dealerships in the country that would come sit with us, and they would sit them with me every time. Texas, California, all over the country. Up north, out west. I sat with a lot of billionaire, millionaire, billionaire dealership owners, and they were interested in what I had to say and requested me when they came back or recommended me to one of their peers. And this is true at almost every job I've ever worked at. I always had access 2 or 3 levels above me. Not my direct management, their management and above them. Always. I remember when I was store manager with Radio Shack. And I remember we always had morning meetings, on the phone, conference calls. And one particular conference call one morning was right before the Golden Quarter. So it would have been around August that year. The regional vice president was on the call, conducting the call, which was strange because normally it was my district manager who was conducting the call. And then above him would have been the regional manager, right? And then above him was the regional VP, the regional vice president of Radio Shack. Sandy Corporation. For you old school people. Right? And the regional VP singled me out. And I was very surprised. I had one of the worst stores in the district as far as performance. It was slow sales. I worked in a shopping plaza that didn't have the anchor anymore. The anchor used to be a supermarket, but the supermarket pulled out. The only thing that was there was Outback steak restaurant, a dry cleaners, and a Rite Aid. That's it. Not a lot of foot traffic. But my numbers were impressive nonetheless. Even though I wasn't doing the total sales volume that other stores in the district were doing, for the numbers I was doing, I was whooping their ass in many categories. I'm selling, like if you break it down, like by cell phone sales, I was like number 5 out of 20. And that means I'm selling a whole lot of phones well above my volume dictated. My parts, batteries, and accessories was high. Satellite TVs were high. Home theater sales were high. And security systems were high too. DVD players, RF modulators, because you could break it down by all kind of categories and look at individual products and things of that nature. So, and I kept up with that. And one thing that was startling and caught the VP's attention was the low amount of discontinued merchandise that I had. And that caused him to go back and look at it, what it was before I took over the store and since I'm in currently at that point. And he said, man, who's Van Johnson at store 819 or whatever my store number was? I said, I am, sir. Yeah, I'm here. And how the hell are you selling so much discontinued merchandise? He said to me. Just like that. Everybody was quiet on the call. Because all of the store managers, all 20 of us on the call, plus my upper management, my district and his boss. So everybody was curious. And I said something that seemed just pure basic common sense to me, but it ended up being revolutionary to everybody else. I said, sir, I take it out of the stock room and I put it on display by the front door. That's how I get rid of it. And I also price it with the batteries. So those of you old folks who remember Radio Shack, always came out with remote control cars every year for the holidays. It was the same remote control car, but it was a different color. It'd be red one year, blue one year, green, So on the off years, I mean, this remote control car might end up being, it might be $39.99 plus with the batteries. You might end up spending about $80 to get that remote control car. Well, once it went to discontinued after a certain amount of time, well, let me back up. After the holiday season, say last year, 2025. Well, this year, 2026, new cars are going to come out. So those old cars are going to be discontinued when the new ones come out. And the price is going to go from $39 to $19.99. And then it's going to drop down to $9.99. And then it's going to drop down to $1.99 until it gets discontinued all the way out of the system. And then they end up throwing them away. However long that process takes. So the previous store manager to me had so much old ass inventory in the stock room. I barely had room for the new inventory. I swear to God, it was a wooden house phone, boxes of them. I had never seen it before. I had never seen a wooden, they was always plastic. These damn house phones, wooden. The rotary dials, yeah. So, and we not talk about something that was made to look like an antique. We talk about a real antique. Well, some people have nostalgia and they like stuff like that in their house. Why is it in the back? I had never seen it before. So I took it all in them boxes. They was like a penny. And I put them on my by my cash register. And when somebody bought something, a cell phone, for example, I would just give it to them. It was a penny. I wanted the crap out of my store. I would give it to them, especially if they were older people. I would give it to them. And you never miss an opportunity to make a first impression. So I'm already giving them great customer service, product knowledge, and now I'm giving them something unexpected at the end of all of that. I did it every time I could. And so I had about 50 of them. Just gave them away. And that made people come back and remember me. And I would always take a Sharpie. Do I have it on me? I took it out of my pocket already. No, I didn't. It's in my pocket. I've been doing this for a long time. I always carry a Sharpie in my pocket. And on every box, I would write, whatever, say the customer's name was John. I would put John, thanks for stopping by Radio Shack in Springfield. Van with V. Sign my name, put it in the bag. Sometimes I would slip it in a bag without them even knowing I did it. But when they got home and they took it out the bag and they seen that note written on the box, there I go making that impression. Just the salesman's technique. I'm gonna tell you, I'm a hell of a salesman, and I've been doing it a long time. Like when I sold cars, everybody I sold a car to, I would always send them a birthday card and a holiday card. That's back when I was celebrating birthdays. I sold them a car in January, birthday in August, like mine. They're not expecting to get a birthday card. And it ain't like generic, like it came from some automated thing. It's handwritten. That's what I did on my slow days. On my slow days, I filled out thank you cards, birthday cards, holiday cards. And people remember that. And they always remembered it and always had a handwritten note. Always in a pen and one of my rolling writer pens or my Sharpie. Usually when I was doing cards, I used a Sharpie. It's the little things. I didn't want nothing. I already done sold them a car. Most of the people I sold somebody else and that they know a car too. And I would send them little reminders, just little thank yous. And also at one point when I got better at it, I would send them a reminder to get their first service intervals. Remember, don't forget, to get your 12-month checkup. Call me if you want me to go ahead and schedule the appointment for you, or let me know you're coming in, and I'll look out. Van V. My signature looks like a V, so that's usually said. So, and people will remember that, and people will call me. Hey, if you need anything, call me. How's that Mustang doing? How's that Explorer doing? How's that 93 Honda Civic you bought from me doing? Whatever. I'm in the dealership. It's slow. What else I got to do? I'm caught up on all my internet sales. I got free time. So instead of sitting there goofing off, and the internet wasn't like it is today. So it was social media, but not like it is today. So I used my time wisely. And I stayed in damn Hallmark. That's when you could go into the mall, and it was actually a Hallmark store. And I was always in the Hallmark store buying cases of cards, and I buy a box of cards, and I made it a point to send out about 100 a month. My calculation was like 3 a day. So I spent I didn't have to pay for postage because the dealership was paying for my postage. But I used the hell out of it. But I didn't want to overdo it, so I kept it to 100. I kept it to about 100 cards or notes I sent out. And I could also see in our computer system the last time they had been in the service department. So I would check sometime. I'm sitting at my desk. I wasn't a regular salesman. I was the internet sales manager. So I had access to it. I used it. I I see you was in you came in last month on the 20th. Yeah, I missed you. I'm sorry I didn't get a chance to see you. Next time, give me a call when you're coming in. I may be able to save you some time. I always gave my contact information, my email address. And back then, everybody didn't have an email. So people were happy to find somebody else with an email and they would email you. Oh, I got your letter. Thanks. Things like that. Out of state people, I definitely stayed in touch with them because I thought rather, if they took the time to come buy a car for me from Florida, Virginia, wherever they was coming from, I need to stay in touch with them. They don't mind spending money. Everybody don't always go down to the local dealership. People want what they want and they willing to go get it. I learned that quickly. So, especially with Mustang, I became the Mustang guy. And I had connections at other dealerships and that I made over the years. And so I could typically get almost any Mustang, except specialty. If it was a regular Mustang, a regular GT or something like that, I could get it. Now, you wanted some weird color combination or a weird configuration on the truck or something. Nah, I can't do all of that. But if it was like I remember one time a kid, he wanted a chrome yellow, and he wanted it in a 96. No, he wanted it in the 96 or 97. 98, the body style changed. So there were very few of these cars in the country available on anybody's lot. I said, man, look, let me try. Let me tell you this. I'll try to get the car for you. I'm not going to make no promises. And it was referred to me from my boss, my general manager. It was his neighbor's kid. So he told him, like, if anybody can get this car, V can get it. But I'm gonna let you talk to him. So when he talked to me, look, I'm not gonna get your hopes up. And I called him back and he came by and talked to me and sat down with me. And I told him, look, it's three of these cars in the whole country. Two of them are pending sales right now. One of them I might be able to get, maybe, but it's going to cost you more. It's going to cost you $10,000 extra. His father wasn't willing to pay. Look, that color ain't that big to me. I'd rather get, dad said, I'd rather just get the whole car payment for $10,000. And I agree with dad. But I ended up selling that kid a white one. Totally opposite of what he originally wanted. Because he was dead set on that 97 because two of his homeboys had 97s. And I said, well, have you even looked at the 98? You know anything about it? He was like, nah, not really. I said, well, come with me. I got up immediately and started walking. What did he do? Follow right behind me. Call it walking the dog. So I walked that dog on out there where I had an ass load of Mustangs. I picked a white one, triple white. It was a convertible with a white top with white interior. And luckily it didn't have the white rims. It had the alloy. Because the white rims don't look good after. I mean, they look good brand new, but after you drive it for a week, them rims don't be white no more. So anyway, I took him and his friend out, and his dad was there, and his dad said, "Well, how long y'all gonna be?" I said, "I tell you what, Dad, y'all live off of Clemson Road, right?" He said, "Yeah." I said, "I tell you what." He said, "Well, how'd you know that?" I said, "Because I know you live over there by my boss." He said, "Yeah, we're neighbors." I said, "I know where you live. I'll bring them home." So I'm gonna say I took the boys out with me, and we was in Columbia. So Columbia has a big school, USC. I took them young high school boys straight to college campus and rode them around the campus with the top down, system blazing. They chilling. I put them in the driver's seat. We got on the interstate. I'm like, man, hit the gas, man. Stop driving like your daddy in the car. I'm in the car with you. Let them floor it a little bit. Man, we had a good time. Let's just say the next day, they came back and got that car, that exact car. He loved the way the engine sound because he had been in his homeboy's cars. If you know anything about Mustangs, they didn't have they stopped making the 5.0 in 95. So from 96, it was a 99, not a 98. So from 96, 97, 98, they had a 4.6. But that 4.6, well, is that how it went? Or did they bring that 5.0 back? They brought the 5. No, they didn't. No, they didn't. They did they brought the big engine back. So whatever car we was in had the big engine, and it was a monster. You could hear it. And he couldn't wait to pull up on his boys. And his homeboys, they didn't have convertible. Oh man. Those kids were so happy. And what you don't know till you know, you know. All I did was put him in the car. He made the decision. I said, well, look, I could get this one in the yellow. So if you want this car in yellow, I could get it. But the top would not have been yellow. The top would have been either white, tan, or black. And he didn't want any, which I agree with him. Like I wouldn't want a yellow car with a black top. Well, maybe black with a black stripe, but I definitely wouldn't want a white top. And I wouldn't want a tan top. That was ugly. I didn't even know they did that, but I found out it was ugly. But he asked me, what would you get? And this is what I think did it. So when he came to order the car, because dad was ready to order yellow. And he just said, hey, man, V, which one would you get? I took him outside. So let me show you something. My car was right next to the white. My car was white. And he was like, what's this? I said, this is my car. He said, so I got the answer to your question. I said, well, no, don't think of it that way. I said, because the original color I wanted was black. My secondary color was a dark blue or like a dark platinum. You see what I ended up with. It was more important for me to get the car. The color wasn't that big a deal. The white grew on me. And that white was pretty when it was clean. So I said, trust me, if you keep this car clean, this car gonna be something else, man. And he was like, should I get the chrome rims? I was like, that's your taste. I said, you see what's on mine? I had alloys on mine. I said, I'm not a big chrome person. Chrome looks good on certain vehicles, but chrome was getting overdone. Either way back then. So, and then I popped my trunk, and I said the reason I went with these color rims is because they matched my speakers in my trunk. He was like, "Oh, I didn't even think about doing that." Then I showed him the speakers on the interior because my car was competition ready. So I showed him the interior speakers and the amp. It was all silver and black. That was Pioneer Premier. And he was like, "I see where you going now. You giving me ideas." I was like, "Holla at your boy. Stay with your boy. I'll show you how to do it." Me and that kid stayed in touch for a couple of years too. Because he always had questions for me, you know. He wanted to do a cold air induction, and he knew I knew the answers because that was what I did, you know. I was always into, I was a Mustang guy, you know, and I'm a techie guy, and I'm a car audio guy, and that whole wheelhouse and stuff. So anyway, I'm rambling, y'all. I'm rambling. Tonight's topic, let's get into today's show, y'all. I am the Dark Knight. I am the Black MAGA. I am the Daywalker. I am the Shogun of Charlotte. The ladies call me the Cookie Monster. Pumpkin Escobar. Mr. Big Balls himself. I am the Heisenberg of this ish. I don't care what no other content creator tells you. You won't find one, or very few, I should say, who's been doing it as long as I have. Before YouTube. Yeah. Been doing it. I've been at it the whole time. Yeah, many of these ideas, and let me take a minute to express myself on this thought. A lot of y'all like to take credit for y'all invented this and y'all came up with this first. I call BS on all of that shit. Some of y'all are original, or you might have been the first to the market with an idea, and I recognize y'all. But some of the things that some of y'all are saying that y'all was doing first, y'all wasn't doing first. Not even close. Because I could point to others who was doing it before y'all. You know what I mean? And there are very few of us who actually have a truly original idea that I've never heard before. But we all think alike. Great minds think alike. Naturally, somebody else is going to come to some of the same conclusions as you did. Just shout out the person who you know to be the oldest saying certain things, the Patrice O'Neills, or hell, Paul Mooney's, and hell, some of this stuff can go back to Richard Pryor in the 70s. You know, some of these ideas ain't new. They may be new to YouTube, but they not new. You know, let's be honest about the shit. But I'm the Heisenberg of this shit. I'm giving you the raw, the pure, no impurities, no fluff, no fillers. That's what it's about. I am the host of the People's Podcast. I am the People's Champ. They call me the champ because I say the things you can't say, and I say it so you don't have to say it. Just blame me. Send them over here to my way and say, Izzy said it. I didn't say it. Izzy said it. Go talk to him. I take all that smoke for y'all. Because you're going to get attacked. I don't care. I don't give a shit. And don't blame it on my age either. Don't blame it on my old age, y'all. Do I got any comments? Damn it, my eyes ain't. I don't think so. So anyway, I for those of you who don't know, I am legally blind. So that's why I have to get close to the camera at times to see things. So it's a miraculous that I could even do this when I'm doing because of my eyesight. Even with my glasses on, I can't see hardly. That's why I got my monitor. I got my TV as my monitor so I can see a little bit better over there, but it is what it is. But I thank y'all for coming over here and keep supporting the People's Podcast. Please subscribe. That's all I ask. I would like to grow my channel, but I mean, what I find is some of the better channels though are your smaller channels. And sometimes people get popular for different reasons, not because they really say anything of value. They might be entertaining. I think a lot of it be entertainment, not any edification that's going on. You ain't really learning nothing because a lot of them just repeating me and they're repeating Coach and they're repeating Angry Man and they're repeating MCR. They're repeating Obsidian. They repeating Coach Greg Adams. Because once you follow that small, and they definitely repeating the original, Tommy Sotomayor. Shout out to the architect. But what I find is that small group of names I just mentioned, if you listen to those guys, you've heard mostly everything. Shout out to the lady. You got Crimson Cure. You got my bestie, Messy Michonne. You got my homegirl, I Am Shalakemia. I said what I said. Right? All these people I've been rocking with for years. Little sis Danica Marie. So they ain't even just the fellas that I'm shouting out. I shout out the women too. And they know who I am. All of the people I've mentioned have interacted with me directly at some point. And many of us have been on panels together. Or we've been in back chats together. God rest his soul. The Godfather. Our friend Kevin Seven. Been in back chats. Dr. T.I. Son Johnson. Just chatted with him today. The OG, BGS Ibmore, the Green Gorilla. Again, after you've heard these names, you're not really interested in listening to some of these new guys because they don't really know what they talk about. They just repeating and regurgitating things they heard us say many times. And then they don't give us credit for saying the shit. Funny, right? Very funny to me. But I've operated in social media since the beginning, since it was GeoCities and in every iteration of social media since then. So I'm from older versions of the Matrix. So a lot of this stuff, and I wish I had my eyesight because I'd be running laps around you guys. Because a lot of this shit that y'all just now starting to do, I was doing way back when. And making money at doing it. Merch? Are you kidding me? I was selling merch. Wait, hell, I had the #1 selling t-shirt for Trayvon Martin and George Zimmerman at the same time. I was getting money on both ends. Then this was before most of y'all knew what merch was. I had to do it. But, I'm not too long. Tonight's topic. Me, 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 me. Me too. Remember Agent Smith? Because we always relating things to the red pill, blue pill, and the Matrix. So those of you Matrix fans should remember when Agent Smith was cloning himself. And that's what he said. Me, 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 me. Me too. And then he straightened up the tie. Well, ladies, yeah, I'm on y'all because I'm running into y'all so much. in the circles I'm crossing over into right now. And it annoys me. But y'all brains are wired so heavily to me. Even when it comes to your own children. You can't get past me. You can't put your kids first. You gotta always make it about you. And this is why y'all run into relationship problems, not just with men, but relationships with children, relationships with other women, relationships at work, out in the public, because y'all so selfish and you're so self-centered, you can't put yourself, and I know I'm a big proponent of putting the mask on you first. Yes, when it comes to life saving, but there are times where you ain't got to put the mask on. The mask ain't dropped down yet. But y'all always trying to make it about you all the time, constantly. And so much so, it's never about anybody else. Even when you claim you're doing something for somebody, it's about you. It's about you getting recognition for you doing that thing. You getting credit for doing something for somebody. You're not really genuinely doing it for their benefit. You're doing it to get something out of it. You know, I know in my lifetime, I've helped people in many ways, giving people rides, paid bills, etc. I done did so much of that, I can't even remember all the people I've done it for. I've had people come back to me and have to remind me of what I did for them. I'm like, damn, I did that word. Yeah, a few years back, you got a tire on my car, and or you did X, Y, and Z. Well, I needed some help paying my mama light bill, and we were co-workers and whatever. You know, I've done so much for people. And it wasn't about me, and I never spoke on it. I just did it out of the kindness of my heart. But some of y'all, even when you come to your own kids, and you sadly, you see this when kids turn 18 and you ain't getting no more benefits for them, then the mama start kicking the boys out. I don't know if y'all remember, I was at QT, and in Charlotte, when I was living in Charlotte, and there was a boy standing outside of QT under the little awning, standing out of the rain. And he had a sign, he was homeless. Young boy, he couldn't be no more than 18, 19. And I said, gosh. And I thought about that boy a lot. But it's so many black boys, they end up in that circumstance. They mamas kick them out. Oh, I can't deal with him no more. But it's funny how you was able to deal with him when you was getting money and food stamps and Section 8 and all kind of other benefits for him. But now you ain't getting those benefits. He's just so intolerable. What a difference a year makes. And he's that way because of you. What does the scriptures tell us? Menstruous women bring forth monsters, and women rule over them. Can't argue with God. That ain't thee, that's God. What does that scripture mean? These women are making babies by themselves, because it ain't said married women. It said menstruous women. What is it describing? Young women who can still have babies. So they bringing forth monsters. They raising them by themselves. Right? No husband, no daddy. And then they're ruling over these children. So you can't blame the man. Y'all doing it. That's the prophecy. Menstruous women bring forth monsters. And we're seeing it play out. And then the monster, when it becomes too much for you to handle, you want to cast them away, throw them to the wolves. Now, wait a minute, I thought you loved your son to death. To this day, whatever I got, my kids got. My kids need a place to stay. I ain't got that much. But they can come here. Hell, one of my kids got a key. Y'all know that. That's a match. She could walk in the door anytime she wants. But any of my kids need a place to stay. They ain't going to be on the street as long as dad got a roof. My kids got a roof. So I don't understand that kicking kids out shit. But I ain't gonna say no names, but I've seen somebody do it to two of the 4 kids already. I'm gonna leave that alone. I ain't gonna make us in there swear I'm talking shit about them. I ain't y'all heard what I heard, what I said. I said what I said. You fill in the damn blanks from there. I'm sorry. Thought I saw something on the side of my head. Wait a minute. Maybe it's on the other side. It's a delay on the camera, so I gotta leave it for a minute. I'm sorry. I'll look at it later. It's on there now, so shit. Mhm. But even with your parents, I've seen people not give a shit about their parents. I'm like, wow, your parents was good to you. You had your mom and your daddy all your life. Now, mama's sick. And, I go to dialysis, so I see a lot of that. I'm like, wow, this is fascinating. Fascinating. Everybody work 9 to 5. Everybody work Monday through Friday. Is that what you want me to believe? Bullshit. But so when I'm seeing people, I'm sorry, when I'm seeing people get wheeled in there by other people that ain't their family, I'm like, damn. And then I wonder, like, well, who's taking care of these people when they at home? Then I noticed I had a doctor's appointment Tuesday in Charlotte. I had a vascular follow-up visit, and I was checking I was about to leave, but I had to check with the girl at the counter. When I walked up to the counter, I must have startled her because she left her phone right in front of her keyboard. And I asked her to do something for me, and I noticed her phone, it was a video playing. And I made a joke with her, what you watching on your phone? And she said, TikTok. 30-something-year-old woman, you at work. You can't stay away from TikTok while you at work. You got to do it while you're at work. And this is that DAI shit. Because a lot of y'all get these jobs because of your sex and your color. And you just sitting up at the desk not really doing nothing. Obviously, you ain't doing much if you got time to be scrolling on TikTok and watching videos. I remember a time you could have had your phone on the floor, as they would call it. But that's why a lot of these Black women, I'm going to say it. Yeah, I said it. A lot of them take these healthcare jobs, health industry kind of jobs, because it ain't the same requirements as other jobs. They got a lot of leeway. Ain't nobody really watching over them. They ain't got a supervisor per se, you know. So I've noticed. You might got somebody that's in charge of the head nurse kind of thing, but they're not really a supervisor. They just over everybody kind of thing. If you really get out of line or, everybody else got to kind of report to that person loosely. It ain't like having a designated manager. And in customer service and management is not taught in the healthcare industry. Y'all have heard me talk about that before. It is not part of their curriculum. And it shows because they can get away with all kind of shit. That's why so much debauchery goes on in hospitals, nursing facilities, hospices, and those kind of facilities. Oh, they raunchy up in there. Let me don't even get that. Be a whole video on that topic. Y'all, you don't know, you don't know. Just trust me on this one. Trust me. If you don't know, you don't know. But don't shake your head and act like it ain't happening if you don't know. There's worlds out here. That's what the Bible tells us. Worlds upon worlds. And there's the hospital world. There's a call center world. There's the nursing world. Worlds upon worlds. And if you don't know those individual worlds, you've never been exposed to them, you don't know what goes on behind the scenes. I've been unfortunately exposed to worlds that I didn't want to know nothing about. And now I can't get it out of my head. It's in there now. But worlds upon worlds, the Bible calls it. But don't shake your head. Oh, that ain't happening. Shut the fuck up if you don't know. If you do not know, then shut up and listen. That brings me to my next topic. Boom. Y'all ain't see that coming. Brought it back around. The me. I love this argument. I ain't trying to argue with you. I ain't trying to go back and forth with you. I told somebody recently, well, back and forth is not an argument. That's a conversation. And this ain't even just women. I'm not just focusing on women with this point. Some of you bitch niggas is like this too, where y'all say the same shit because you get it from your bitch ass mamas. And y'all get that, I ain't trying to argue with you. I ain't trying to go back and forth with you. Same thing. That's where it comes from. No, what they want to do is say what they want to say at you. And you supposed to just absorb everything that they're saying with no reaction to it. Well, here's the problem with that. If you don't react to it, then they'll use that against you too. So let's say you and your girl argue. And you don't say, well, no, you ain't even arguing. She giving you her perspective on her opinion. Because everybody thinks they're entitled to share their opinion. No, you're entitled to have an opinion. Sharing it is something different. Once you share your opinion, you got to support what you're saying. So anyway, they'll say whatever they got to say to you. And then you don't say nothing. You just, because you already learned from past behavior not to say nothing. And then what they going to say after that? You ain't got nothing to say? You ain't going to say nothing? Wait a minute. So I'm damned if I do and damned if I don't. Now, had you said something in response, they would have hit you with that, I ain't trying to go back and forth with you, and mic drop and walk off or hang up on you. Because that's what they love doing. But now that you ain't say nothing, or even if you ask, is it my turn to talk? Then when you say that, men know the game today. We're not previous generations of men where we're more intelligent, first of all, and we have more verbiage. So we know all of y'all responses. I've been hearing it for 50 years. Y'all didn't think we was going to come up with no response? or no course of action. But what they'll say is they'll go, you be like, well, is it my turn to talk? Well, as long as you don't do this and as long, no. First of all, I didn't put no parameters on you talking. I just let you talk. Now it's my turn. Now you either gonna shut the fuck up and listen or walk the fuck off. That's where men are today. Men don't care. Men used to care. And no, baby, don't hang up. And no, men don't care no more. Men are taking a ball and they going to another country now. I heard somebody say that the other night. They ain't just taking their ball and going home. They taking their ball and going to another country. I might need to do that. That might need to be a thumbnail, a passport, bro, with his passport in one hand and his basketball under his arm or something. But yeah, that's what men are doing. Men are tired of playing that game because you want to have an unequal exchange. Same thing to Democrats. Remember I said in my opening monologue? They want to keep moving the goalpost and playing, changing, filling in the blank, even when they get what they want. So they got what they want, just like the Democrats, because who's a big part of the Democratic Party? Who's their strongest base? Black women. So that behavior is pervasive. So the party is becoming like black women. So they got what they want. You wanted me to shut up, not interrupt you, not say a word. I did that. You've been talking for 20 minutes now. Can I get one sentence in without you interrupting? And without fail, you start talking. Soon as you start talking, can't even finish your first sentence, they already cutting you off. But they accuse you of cutting them off the whole time. And you ain't saying shit. No, don't say nothing. Don't say, I ain't saying shit. Stop saying that. Just fucking talk. I know you was getting ready to say something. No, you don't know a goddamn thing. I haven't said nothing. But you making me say something now because you're pissing me off. Just say what you got to say so we can get to it. Then I should be able to say my side, and then we can have some exchange, and maybe you got questions, maybe I got questions. And then we can come to a mutual understanding. That's the way communication is supposed to work. But y'all don't want to have mutual understanding. It's me, 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 me. Me too. All the time. You do it with your kids, and then your kids turn into teenagers, and especially the boys. You can't whoop on them no more. And hell, the boys might even be whooping on y'all. Sometimes the girls too. Because they sick of y'all bullshit. They done got it all their lives. They know you full of shit. And they know you done ran their father off. Because your behavior. Your kids know. AD showed a clip earlier today. I saw it on my way to Chipotle with the boy that was in court telling his lawyer to shut up and how he shot all his friends in the head. But how did that, AD asked the question, how do we get that way? And I don't think it was live, so I didn't leave a comment. But had it been live, I would have told him, menstruous women bring forth monsters. I'd have gave him that script because he claims to be a religious man. And I'm assuming religious men will read the Bible. But those two ain't always the same. But anyway, but that explains how you get that boy. Menstruous women bring forth monsters. AD himself called the boy a monster. Where did this come from? The Bible told you it was coming. That's how I know wherever he go to church ain't teaching the Bible. It is basics. And it's going to get worse. I'll let y'all in on that secret. It's going to get worse. And those of you content creators, quote unquote. And here's what I hate. They're not red pill. They're blue pill. Blue pill means you believe whatever you want to believe. And that's what these dudes are doing. They're not red pill. Red pill means you want to learn the truth. It doesn't mean you have learned the truth. It means you want to learn. And you may not learn it. It just means you got an interest in learning. That's what red pill means. But it's been hijacked and, people who ain't supposed to be on here teaching and trying to teach, and they don't really know what they're teaching. Blue pill means you believe whatever you want to believe. Red pill means you got an interest in learning the truth. It's not the truth. You want to learn the truth, though. I'm sorry, y'all. My ear, I think I got an ear infection, and it be draining, and it be irritating me. I'm sorry. I'm doing all kind of shit tonight. But that's what red pill, blue pill means. Right? At least that's what it meant when I invented it 20 years ago. Because, yeah, I was the first one. Anybody who disagrees me can go on Flickr and find my Flickr page. And it's a picture of me 20-some years ago holding the blue pill and the red pill in my hand. And underneath that is my dialogue, my commentary on it. This is before YouTube. But anyway, I don't get no credit for that. But just to set the record straight. And the only other person I heard really use the blue pill as good as me was Tim Wise. Tim Wise talks about the blue pill being an ID drip. And people are walking around with the ID drip, believing whatever it is they want to believe. But it's ignorant of reality. Tim Wise. You could YouTube search him. White man talks about racial issues. Got a few books out. Tim Wise. And if you're into that topic, Jane Elliott is another one who talks about racial issues. But anyway. But that boy got created by his mother. Well, how you know that, V? Well, maybe his father did it. Yeah, well, we gonna go by probable. Because see, again, ladies, men don't go by possible. We go by what's probable. And the overwhelming data suggests he was raised by his mom, not his father. That's what the data, even if his daddy was in his life, that don't, just because he know who his daddy is, don't mean his daddy raised him. I guarantee he was in his mama house, his grandmama house, his auntie house. Overwhelmingly, that's what the numbers show. You don't believe me, go to blackdemographics.com. Look it up for yourself. See, this ain't nothing new. So let's get grown about this shit. Y'all like to go to the possible. It's possible you shut the fuck up, but it's probable that you won't. Because of me. Can't get past yourself. And hopefully this message ain't gonna reach everybody. Some of y'all gonna get turned off by it. If those of you who listen to me, it shouldn't be nothing new that I'm saying to you, nothing offensive anyway. Some of you new people may, I can't handle him. He sound like Kevin Samuels. No, I'm before Kevin. Kevin sound like me. He sound like AM. He sound like Coach. He sound like us. We didn't sound like him. He started sounding like us. Because before he got exposed to us, He was a deacon wearing a red fur coat, trying to be the best deacon, dressed deacon in the country. That's how I met Kevin anyway, way back when. Now, that doesn't take away from his brilliance. He was a brilliant man, and I didn't agree with him on everything. I disagreed with him on so many things, and we argued. But I had love for him, and I would consider him a friend based on the conversations, the few I had with him. Just like I considered Dr. Hassan Johnson my friend. I never met him in person, but I would say I'm his friend. I don't know BGS as well. Talked to him a few times on a few panels. AM, been on a few panels with AM. Me, AM, and Tommy all on the same panel at the same time many times. At least 3 or 4. And some of you can vouch for me. If I'm lying, say I'm lying. Yeah. Never been on a panel with a coach. Never talked to coach or interacted with him directly. Would love to. Same thing with AD. Never interacted with him directly. Would love to. But some of the brothers I have been on panels with Obsidian a few times. And me and Obsidian argue. You know. But anyway, that young man, unfortunately, he's going to spend the rest of his life in prison. And a lot of y'all have done that to your kids. Kids you're responsible for. Even some of you teachers. Because again, nobody's directly monitoring you on a daily basis. And y'all can get away with a lot of shit. And do. And y'all influence these kids a lot of ways with your personal me shit. And y'all put thoughts, supposed to be teaching math, supposed to be teaching English. Why are your personal politics coming into it? Now, the only class I could see personal politics coming in maybe with some history subjects, but very few subjects should you be sharing your personal opinion. And y'all do this at work. You can't function at work because you get a wind. I remember last year, before the election, actually. So this would have been 2024. I had my Trump hat on, and I went into a doctor's visit, and I could just see the noses turn up because y'all can't hide your face. Y'all don't do a good job. You ain't got no poker face. And I did it on purpose just to get that reaction from the black women because I knew it was black women in that doctor's office. It's full of black women. How wouldn't it be? Especially in a city like Charlotte? Oh, shit. But yeah. And so their personal politics affected what kind of service I got. This is your job. You're supposed to leave that other bullshit at the door. But they can't do that. It's me all the time. In their mind, I shouldn't have wore that hat. I should have checked my shit. I ain't got a right to wear the hat I want to wear as a customer. I should have been cognitive of how they would perceive my hat. That's what they think. That's how they think. And some of you men are the same way. Unbelievable. Unfucking believable. That's all I got to say. Let me see how much time I got. Can I see my time? I used to see my time. Maybe my eyesight getting worse. But anyway, I was going to tell another story because I don't want this to come off like a female bashing session because I get accused of that. And that's something else that bothers me. Anytime you talk truthfully about women and particularly black women, somebody always come out of nowhere. Oh, you hate women. No, I'm just telling the truth. I'm not sugarcoating it. I'm not exaggerating it. I'm telling it exact. I just told you a story about me going in the doctor's office with my Trump hat on. Did I exaggerate that? I just told you I can see their faces change. That's all I said. That's what happened. No exaggeration. I didn't soften it. I saw their faces change. Now I got some thoughts on what I think they were thinking based on them faces. I didn't share that with you. But I never get that with men. If I'm telling the truth about men, I never hear nobody come out. No woman gonna come out of nowhere and be like, "Oh, you hate men." I've never had that happen. Not once in 50 years. But all I can say from experience, and I've been up, down, back up again. I done had a roller coaster of a life. And I would think that's most people. No, it's actually not. Because some of y'all are so mediocre, you just come up a little bit. And that little bit you came up is the best you ever been in your life. But it ain't way up here where I was. But then that person is down here, because you down at the moment, for whatever reason. They want to get on a high horse. I congratulate people for their achievements. My cousins all the time, I see their success, and I always speak highly of them. I never say, "Oh, that nigga think he all of that," or he got that little car with the rims on it. He think he the shit, or his wife got a car. I don't do. I mean, I just be celebratory of people around me. But I never hear nobody ever singing my praises, and I done did it all. Way more than they'll ever do. Like I tell people all the time, I done lost more than you will ever have. But now because of my health issues, some people like they try to punch down at me, and they get mad when I come out swinging. You forgot who I was? Just because I got health issues don't mean I ain't got fight in me. You must not know me. I'm a fight to the last breath. Period. You might get cut. Period. But some of y'all are you're hypocrites and you're fugazi and you're unauthentic with your own self. Because you just in that me space and you can't look back at yourself. It's like you're in a box and you don't know you're in the box until you get outside of the box. But y'all just stay hiding in y'all little boxes. Congratulations, cuz you bought a house. Auntie, her cuz, whoever. Congratulations. I bought multiple houses in my lifetime. I don't remember anybody showing up to congratulate me, but I was always there celebrating everybody. Help people move in. Ain't nobody helped me move in to any of my houses. I had to move in on my own, me and my kids. For the most part, my ex-wife. But y'all fake. because of the me stuff. And it's funny how y'all could see other people's problems so clearly, but you can't see your own. Case in point, I had a cousin, not going to say his name. He shared something with me on Facebook. My Bishop Nathaniel, the general, he shared one of his clips with me. I'm like, why are you sharing this with me? You're not an Israelite. You don't want to know the truth. So why are you sharing Bishop Nathaniel? Oh, well, you turned me on to him, he said. Yeah, I know. But obviously you ain't been listening to nothing he said. And then he comes back, well, how would the bishop say, what would the bishop got to say to you smoking cigarettes? Oh, now you're trying to take a shot at me. And you're judging me unrighteously. See, if you knew the scriptures, you would know not to do that. See? But then you're going to turn around and you posting pictures of a pig feed on your fucking page. What would the fucking bishop say about you doing that where the Bible says not to do that? Specifically. Bible don't say nothing about cigarettes specifically. But I know I need to stop. But the Bible says specifically not to be eating that. So what would Bishop say about that? Ask yourself. And that's what the scriptures say. Examine yourself. Stop trying to examine me. You ain't in that position. You ain't in no leadership. You don't know the scriptures. So humble down and learn and start doing before you try to come at me. Unrighteous. Because there's a way to handle that. There was an appropriate way to do that. And that wasn't the appropriate way. You're doing big shit, taking shots at it. And then they get mad and then they feelings because you react a certain way. And then they want to go back and forth. There's nothing to go back and forth. You're wrong. You out of order. You way out of order. But some of y'all, because of that me stuff, you so far out of order, you don't even know you out of order. That's what's sad. But because you're at a point in your life where you got a little success going on for yourself, and y'all, a lot of niggas, I see this all over the internet. Niggas always, oh, my blessings, my blessing. Your blessings ain't never financial. Your blessings is the trials and tribulations. So, and all blessings don't come from God, the scriptures say. So you better start questioning where those quote unquote blessings are coming from. But because certain people ain't ready, as Christ would say, my people will hear my word. They not ready to hear Christ's words, so I don't even bother. I tried at some point, and then you showed me no willingness for you to understand. And then I got other people, cousins, speaking of, call me and we'll talk scripture for hours. And, you know, and I try to give understanding, not judgment. And I hope I got some cousins on here that can speak to that. Yeah, he gives me understanding, not judge me. He don't judge me, but he'll let me know when I'm veering off too far to the left or the right. But he gives me understanding so I can come to my own understanding. But the only way you're gonna get a good understanding is by keeping the commandments. Eating pig feet, you ain't keeping no commandments. But you know. I'm listening to Lou Valtino, and I'm all of these new Christian words and the Zionist and this and that and all of this bullshit that these Christians, they like to reinvent new Show me where the definition of Zionist is in the Bible. Because it ain't in there. It's a made up word. And that's more justification on, because he said, no, I'm a believer in the New Testament. How you believe the New Testament without believing the Old Testament? They both saying the same thing. And Jesus is in all of it. And then let's throw the Apocrypha in. How you can read any of them. But that's why they think there's a separation between Old Testament and New Testament, because they don't know there's a middle set of books in there, the Apocrypha. It's 3 books, not just 2, old and new. But see, if you put the Apocrypha in there, then that throws out the old, the new is replacing the old. Well, what the hell was the Apocrypha? Right. And what the hell was Jesus teaching? Because there was no New Testament when Jesus was walking the earth. What was he teaching? The Old Testament. So what are y'all talking about? It's just, Achman's raising. I've heard a lot of y'all many of y'all try to give a definition for Achman's raising. And it's always been way off to me. Achman's razor, the simplest explanation is often the truth, meaning it's never complicated. It's never no roundabout way, long drawn out story. It's usually when you got a choice between simple and complicated, it's going to be simple. That's why Achman's razor means. Well, the Bible is the same way. Just like Christians will tell you, I don't want to make this a Bible study, but they'll tell you, oh, the commandments have been done away with. Show me that in the Bible. Where has that happened? They can't. Oh, the Bible, Jesus coming to save everybody. Well, the Bible talks about your enemies. So if he coming to save everybody, who are your enemies? Like, they not making sense. It makes no sense. I mean, do you want to believe that you got, oh, the Bible's for everybody, or the Bible's for a chosen group of people? Well, that's what it says. It says that clearly. The children of Israel, that's who the Bible's for. Nobody else. Not Muslims, not Buddhists, not Hindus or whatever, whoever else. Methodists, Baptists, Zionists, whoever else. None of that's in there. Children of Israel. It was for a group of people. Here go the laws that you got to keep. Do you agree to keep them? Yes, we do, God. Okay, that's the covenant. So when did that get applied to everybody? And who was the scriptures given to? Moses gave them to who? The children of Israel. Was the Muslims there? No. Were the Buddhists there? No. No, it was only the children of Israel. And that's never changed. It's the same lineage of people. But you got people, because of syncretism, and they want to try to write themselves as the scriptures predicted or prophesied, write themselves into the scriptures. They want to put their likeness into the scriptures. So in order to do that, you got to make it about everybody. When did that happen? Jesus said himself in the New Testament, he did not come to save everybody. He came to save his people. When did that change? That's New Testament. When did that change? But me. I'm sorry. It ain't for everybody can't be saved. We didn't get saved. Children of Israel been getting their ass whooped for 1,000 years. We didn't get saved from that ass whooping, neither were y'all. I'm sorry. Everybody got their turn. Boom, y'all didn't see that coming. Got to bring it back around. It's about everything in its due time. It can't always be me forever. Especially if you want to, you want it to be me. Go off, live in the woods by yourself. See how that works out. But if you want to live in society, you got to interact and have relations with other people. And you can't have relationships with communication being one way, one directional all the time. And hopefully that helps somebody. Maybe somebody, y'all need to examine yourself and ask yourself, am I doing? Do I listen to other people? Do I consider? I'm not even saying accept. I'm saying consider. You might be wrong. Or there may be some information you don't have. Maybe you only got 80% of the information. And maybe there's 20% you don't know. Will you consider that? And you got people, they won't even consider that. They think they got 100% total recall and they see everything at all times. And they won't maybe consider that the other person might have saw something you didn't see. Is it possible? But now, when it's your time to show and prove this revolutionary idea that the other person is missing, you better show and prove. You can't come with the standard cliche bullshit and expect the person to listen to it. Like me, I've heard some of these arguments, especially doing this shit here. I've heard some of these arguments over and over and over, year after year after year. I know where the conversation is going based on the first sentence. And had you been listening to what I said, I already knocked that argument out of the park. You can't just keep having circular arguments. At some point, you got to concede that, oh shit, he already knocked my argument out. But y'all struggle with that. And you just create circular arguments. And you do it with your kids. Your kids get enough of it. Especially these boys. They start getting 16, 17 and up. They not boys, they men. And you can't, I try to warn y'all ladies all the time, you can't, I don't care how big y'all think y'all are. You ain't never gonna be strong as a man. Even that professional Olympic boxer that got hit by that tranny said, and she was a professional who had been boxing all her life. And when that tranny hit her, she quit. She said, I ain't never been hit that hard in my life. Because see, y'all so used to previous generations of men taking it easy on them. But these new generation of men ain't doing that. Not no more. Y'all want all that smoke, they giving it to you. And I'm just putting it out there. And I know it's going to get worse, so the majority of y'all ain't going to hear what I'm saying, but maybe I can help a couple of you check yourself. When next time you get ready to buck up at a man, whether it be your son, your boyfriend, your husband, your baby daddy, your brother, you might want to think twice about that. Because men today, they letting it fly. Equal rights and equal lefts. Because we tired of getting punished coming and going. So men are like, hey, if I'm going to get punished either way, I might as well get mine off. You know. But listen, that's all I got, man. I'm getting tired. I done ran my mouth. I'm kind of hungry. So I'm going to go ahead and get up off of here. On your way out the door, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, smash the bell, hit the Cash App, send me $2 on the Pure Leaf Tea Fund. Y'all see what I'm drinking? I'm drinking tea, but damn. That's how y'all got me. I am the host of the People's Podcast. I am the Ben Israel, the People's Champ, but you could call me V.
It's your boy.